I'm Ryan Herrera of CHGO Cubs. I'm here with Chicago Cubs pitcher Hayden Wesneski. Hayden, how are we doing today?
Not bad this early morning in Arizona. How you doing, Ryan?
Yeah, doing really well. Appreciate you asking. So, first question, obviously, we're 10 days or so into spring training. What's it been like? What's it been like for you? Another spring training with the Cubs and just being here with all the guys again.
Man, it's already been 10 days. That's crazy. Kind of flew by. It's kind of flown by a little bit. I don't know what day it is anymore, but it's been going well. It's been good. Council has us going pretty straight and narrow, and we like where things are going right now.
So for you, as you reflected on this last season, what were kind of some of your takeaways from your own performance, from the team's performance, and just how did that kind of help you plan out the winter for you?
Last year, yeah, for me, it was a cool experience. I learned a lot about just playing in the big leagues, understanding how travel works, how the fans are, and kind of how to be a Chicago Cub. And then the team side, we realized how good we were, right? We weren't supposed to be that good. A lot of people doubted us. We ended up doing, I think, pretty well. I know we missed the playoffs, but we had some guys step up, and I'm hoping to be one of those guys that steps up this year.
And for you, between starting and relieving, obviously just some of the struggles starting, when you kind of reflected on that, what did you kind of find as these were the issues that were really maybe hurting me during the season, that and how have you planned to kind of counteract those?
Starting, I had some good and bad starts, right? Mm-hmm. I felt that the bad ones are really bad and the good ones are really good, mm-hmm. and I don't need as many so many highs and lows. It's one of those things where if I need to stay in the middle, and that's something that you can learn from Kyle Hendricks right? That guy stays in the middle more than anybody I've ever met, and so I think that moving into starting, that's kind of where I need to be, is kind of in the middle.
So when you mention those kind of guys like Kyle, what are some of the things as you're progressing in your own big league career, some of the things you're asking them, whether it's advice or how to do different things? What are some of the questions that you have for some of those guys like Kyle?
A lot of it is game planning stuff, right? My stuff is plenty good enough. I know that. I've been told that. I'm well aware, right? A lot of it's just the game planning stuff. We're like, hey, where are you attacking this guy, right? Okay, hey, what does that swing tell you? Because what Kyle does a really good job of is he basically reads their mind by what the body's telling them, right? Their body can tell you a lot what's going on. And so just trying to pick up little tips and tricks about, hey, this is what his body's telling you. This is what he's telling you, mm-hmm. doing this. And so that's something that I picked up from him. Mark Leiter, and I've kind of learned from him on the whole relieving side with hey, how to attack the day, right? We're hey, how to move your body, how to get ready to go in, what you should be thinking about, right? What pitches you should use in later innings, right? So it's I kind of just learned a little bit of everything from a few different guys. Mm-hmm. But you just kind of try to pick up little things from them.
So you actually mentioned Craig Counsell earlier. Just what has it been like getting to know him? Has there been anything about him that surprised you since the start of camp?
His personality surprised me. When you see him across the field and on TV, he looks so stern and rigid and not and very focused. Not in a bad way, but mm-hmm. just very, very serious. And when he's in the clubhouse, he's smiling a lot. He's saying hi to guys. He just showed more personality than I thought he would have. Yeah. I know I don't know. That's not a bad thing. I'm just saying that I didn't know what to expect, and just from afar what I've seen was totally wrong, totally different than what him as a person. And
he actually mentioned, with Jordan Wicks, how you were in Milwaukee at the end of the year. Jordan started there, had a rough outing, and just what Counsell had seen on the other side of it as the opposing manager at the time. Have you had any conversations with him about that, just what he saw as an opposing manager, how they game plan for you from the other side?
I haven't really asked him about the game planning part, which I probably, now that you mention it, I probably should have asked that, right? Yeah. But we've talked about me and what he expects and should go on, right? And we've had really good conversations about it, where he kind of goes, hey, you're a big leaguer, you can do this, and you need to believe it, and we all believe it. And so it's a really strong feeling. It's really nice to hear from a new manager and a guy that just came over and has never had an interaction with me,
Yeah, and with the managerial change, obviously you don't know. The coaching staff was up in the air for a little bit there as he kind of took his time and got to know a lot of the guys in the organization. But when you heard that, obviously Tommy Hotovy, Daniel Moskos, and those kind of guys were sticking around, what was the feeling like? What was the reaction for you?
Man, change isn't always good, right? Like I know, and we're excited about the change that happened, but change isn't always good. And so, hearing when Council got hired, it was a shock, a little bit of a shock to us. And but like that's the next thought is like, hey, what are we gonna do? Like, who's gonna be our pitching coach? Like, and it was good to hear. Me and Tommy have a good relationship. We play around with each other, and man, we have a good relationship, right? And I didn't want that to go to waste. I mean, I had a good year and a half with him, and I wanted to continue that relationship, you know. And then Moskos I've had for since AA, right? I couldn't get away from the guy, you know. And so he knows me as good as anybody, if not the best, right? And so it's really nice to keep him around, have him around, and I wouldn't want him to go anywhere. And so those questions of when Council gets hired, it's like, man, I really hope that he keeps his guys, but you never know, right? You never know what's going to happen.
So, you know, obviously, on top of the change in the coaching staff or the manager, you added a big piece to the pitching staff, or a few pieces, but obviously one out of Japan, Shota Imanaga, and you know, the Cubs fans, people that watch the Cubs, have seen it with Seiya. You know, the tough transition, a lot to go through coming from Japan going to Major League Baseball. But with Shota, what have you seen from him? What have conversations you've had with him, if you've been able to? Just what have you seen out of him as he kind of starts his Major League Baseball journey?
So, man, for Seiya, I think he's had a really good career. He had a really good year last year, and it is an adjustment, man. Like, you have to understand, you're coming to a whole new country, a whole new world, basically, right? And so there is an adjusting period that comes with it, where what do I eat, right? Like it's can I communicate to people? Like it's just like there's the little things that you don't think about as an American that you don't deal with because you're an American, you've done it before, right? And so on the aspect of that, I think it's going to really help because Shota knows English pretty well, right? He knows pretty good English. He tries, right? And he man, he's just he's a really good human being. He's a good dude. I've seen him pitch once, and I loved watching him. I played catch with him yesterday, and his fastball is incredible, dude. It's the like you see it on TV, and you see guys swinging and missing. Like, for instance, Spencer Strider has a fastball. It's really hard, but a lot of guys throw a really hard fastball. But it's not the velo that gets him. Yeah. It's the way the ball moves, the way the ball jumps out of your hand. And that's what Shota has. His ball jumps out of his hands. It's like you're waiting for it to come down, and you're like waiting. You've caught so many baseballs. You see, like, okay, this is what it's supposed to do, and it doesn't do that. It just stays up, and it gets on you. Yeah. And it's a really cool thing, and the guy commands it, and he works. His work is very diligent. He checks off all the boxes, right? It's like every throw is very focused. He's upset when he misses, right? And it's not very often. The dude is just he gets it, right? He gets how to be professional. He's a very professional pitcher, and man, he's a great human being, dude. He makes us laugh. He's goofy, right? Like he just fits in, I think, really well. Maybe perfect. Yeah, when you're talking about fitting in, obviously you have a lot of personalities in that clubhouse, a lot of people from different backgrounds, different countries, and whatever it is. How have you felt that the group has gelled? Whether it's the guys that are still here from last year, previous season, and even some of the new guys you brought in, how do you feel like just the group is right now is gelling? I know it's early again, only not even a couple weeks in the spring, but just I really think this team is gelled really good. Like I haven't been around a whole lot of big league clubhouses, so I could be totally wrong, but the energy I'm getting is absolutely great, right? Like Hector, Neris. I messed it up every time, but he's incredible. He helps us out a lot. He tells us a lot of knowledge. He's been through a lot. He's done really well in his career, right? So he's helping guys like me out. I just listen. He talk. Leiter's great. Adbert's great, right? And then the new guys like Almonte, Yency, like you don't realize how big of a deal like someone like Yency and Kwas are because they speak Spanish, really good Spanish, and they speak really good English. That helps us, and like Adbert, another example, right? Because not in football and in basketball, they don't have this issue where it's like two different like backgrounds, complete backgrounds, right? Well, the Yency and Almonte, Kwas, and Adbert, they're like they get both sides of it, and like for someone like me, I don't get the Latin side. I don't understand. Like, I have no clue unless what you tell me and these guys communicate to me, like, what's going on. And, like, they help gel the team. Those are the guys that help gel the team a lot more than you think, right? And the Nereses help, right? Yeah. Like, they get it. They get both sides of the coin. And so we don't have that. I don't think we have that issue. It's not like the international versus the domestic guys. No, we're like a one team, right? And and that really makes a big deal. So I feel like this team is gelling really well together. We watch each other pitch. Man, I'm just excited about this group. I don't know. I feel like I fit in, you know?
Yeah. So talking about the group and even shrinking it down, there's a group of you guys that, you know, maybe battling for a starting position or starting rotation position to start the year. I know Craig has talked about, like, even though you set the starting 5 on opening day, you're going to need a lot more than 5 to get through the season. He doesn't seem too worried about that, but, you know, I don't think you've given up on yourself as a starting pitcher. I know the coaches haven't given up on you as a starting pitcher. What are kind of your goals in that sense, or what you're trying to do this spring or this season, as far as, like, you still want to be a starting pitcher in the big leagues?
No, I definitely do want to start, right? That's not a question. I'm very grateful that the coaching staff hasn't given up on me, because they easily could, right? The things I'm gonna try to do is try to cut out the distractions, right? There's a lot of distractions. It's and most of them I create myself, right? And that's not a great thing. But yeah, you have to understand that we're gonna need more than 5 guys, right? Let's just think about last year. We were mostly healthy at a time we had 1 or 2 guys that would get hurt. Like, we didn't have a bunch of guys go down, and we still used, I think, 9 to 11 starters. Like,
something like that.
Yeah, we didn't get hurt that much. Like, we stayed healthy for the most part. And that's like, and so it's just, you're gonna need. I was told you're gonna need 8 to 10 guys bare minimum.
Sure.
And I think I was talking to a guy with the Reds, and he's like, "Yeah, we used 15 starters last year." So you have to understand that, yes, the starting 5 that are gonna come out in opening day, you're gonna need another 5 to 10 to come in and to help you out during the year. So I think we have a really good depth when it comes to starting pitching. We'll just see how much we use it, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I got one more for you. I know you're a big football fan. I know you're a Texans fan. You guys were able to get who seems like your franchise quarterback last year in C.J. Stroud. The Bears have the first overall pick, and they don't know what to do. No one. There's a huge debate up in Chicago about what they should do. From an outside perspective, what should the Bears do with the first overall pick?
So the position the Texans are in, we get to spend some money on nothing that's not quarterback, right? So I think it's one of those things where, yes, I think Justin Fields is good, but Caleb Williams, he resets the clock on. I don't mean to get detailed in this, but like, it resets the clock for the rookie contract, so you can go sign a bunch of guys. And I think Caleb Williams is really good, right? And listen, so it's not only a person decision, but it's a business decision as well. So and it just gives you more opportunities to do more different things on the offensive side, and you can spend a little money on the defensive side, right? So I think it just kind of gives you a little leverage. But hey, I like where the Texans are going. So and the Bears are not far behind. I think, at least, especially depending on what they do. They have a lot of options, but having a lot of options isn't always the best thing, because you could try to do everything, you know.
Hey, I'm sure there's people out there that agree with you. I'm sure there's people out there that disagree with you, but that's why we love these things, huh?
Yeah, as an expert from afar, you know. I'm excited about what the Texans are doing, and I will cheer for the Bears as long as they're not playing the Texans.
There you go. All right, Hayden, appreciate you joining us. Thank you. For CHGO Cubs, I'm Ryan Herrera. Thanks.
We all silly like the mayor.